Hello and welcome to another jungle video and the first best junglers of the official Season 11 patches. And with placements ready to go, you need to be ready to offset any sort of tragic events that might befall you in these games by using the best junglers to actually try and carry. Now we've had some nerfs, we've had some buffs, the items on the AP side were changed to have less burst, and Graves lost 2 AD, which is actually 3% of what it was, which is actually quite consequential. And as such, I haven't put him in the S or A tier pages, while his play rate and ban rate is still hugely high, and he has success in high elo. Overall, I feel there are better choices for the 99% of you, and I want to see if there are any other shifts coming his way in the next few weeks. And if you want to improve with these champions, please consider heading to our sponsor, League of Coaching. With Season 11 fully underway and the new mythic items still providing, well, a mystery, consider grabbing yourself some high elo coaching to explain how they work on your champion, to figure out as a jungler where you should path, how you should path, and perhaps even why should you path. They have live coaching, VOD review coaching, and more. Simply sign up, choose your coach, join the Discord, select your time, make sure you are fully prepared for your placement so that you can actually dominate the start of the season, all with League of Coaching on your side. Click the link in the description to begin improving. And now without hesitation, let's begin. Stop me if we've been here before. As page number 1, Kha'Zix. Is there a better, more accessible assassin champion that can also solo carry in most elos? No. It's just so tough to deal with him. He can handle so many junglers 1v1 early, he scales like a monster, the itemization suits him so well, you have evolved choice versatility, and while he does have some counters, overall he just performs the best out of any jungler. Not far behind him though is Hecarim, because while Kha'Zix, is a little bit slow at least, Hecarim is really fast. They nerfed him a little bit, and it really was just that. A little bit. Usage rate is high, ban rate is high, win rate is high. Again, there are ways you can deal with him, but the rotational speed he has, the one-shot ability, the skirmishing power, the rune set diversity, it's just so difficult to handle him, and when teammates and lanes don't exactly understand, map awareness, all of a sudden you've got a hugely fed gigantic warhorse. And maybe you're playing Nunu, maybe you're playing Poppy Ascana, something to deal with him to peel, but you just don't share the same carrying power. On the other hand, Olaf really does. Strong early clear, really great sustain, you build Gore Drinker, Sterex Gauge. I essentially put him as the pick of the patch in the last edition, and he really was, and still is such a dominating great jungler for you to use, to just steamroll over anyone in front of you. See, in a statistical sense, Kha'Zix does very well against Olaf. You have the Aura Vault for auto passive Qs, and his ultimate is effectively useless. Once he activates it, yeah, he gets bonus damage, but he loses those resistances and, you kill him. But for most other matchups with a lot of CC and the ability to chase down immobile targets, one of the best steamroll junglers for you to use in your placements, the big Viking who really needs a rework though. Next up, we have Nunu and Willem, but last year I made a video about really strong junglers that just no one played. Nunu was one of them. Well, we're up at a 7.5% pick rate that will shift over the course of the patch, but I think people are catching on to how strong they really are. Up and down the river, peels, teamfights, damage, shields, AP ratios, healing. For the same reason that Hecarim can be really difficult and annoying as a jungler to face, Nunu can be the same because you cannot match that ganking and pressure cadence. You cannot contest a red buff because the consume does more than your smite for most points in the game. That and their death animation is really upsetting to watch, so people who play the champion are going to look to not die as much as possible, which they seemingly achieve on a daily basis. Now the next 3 here you can really flex in any order you like. It's really down to your ability with the champions and your preferences. Do you like trees, spiders, or rocks? But in this case, Talia, the nerf came through with the movement speed. It didn't really do anything. I mean, you go around slower a little bit, but you still go around faster than everyone else. The clear damage that you have that was buffed is still amazing for actually getting onto the field. And once you progress to your AP itemization, the rinse clears are just so easy. You have your ultimate to get around. And every time you miss your Q, you can literally just say, throw another rock, and then throw some more rocks. And the W is such a disgusting tool on dashless targets. If anyone gets caught in a WE combo and you finish them off with a Q, they are 100% dead at most points in the game. Now the reason I've said here mid MMR and up as well is because she is so strong it does work, but it's really something that comes online in Platinum and fully flourishes like a gigantic stone pyramid in Diamond Plus. However, while her movement speed nerf did slightly affect the win rate, it has gone down, it is noticeable. Ivan's nerfs on the other hand didn't seem to change his win rate at all. The thing is, the Q root caller cooldown going up by 2 seconds, that is noticeable, but most of the time you're not using it as often on repeat like you would with other champions like say a Kayn with his Q nerf. Also the trigger seed AP ratio going down from 90 to 80%, this is nice, but it's still a hell of a lot of damage, and with the way Ivan builds, it's more about the shield, and the fact that you can almost spam it. I did a full review of it on my gameplay channel to show you the root diversity and how a champion that's really designed to appeal and be supportive can have such a strong success rate. Now obviously he is a tad bit overtuned still and we might see more nerfs coming through. But the Daisy buffs we got, the Daisy knockup, the chase down potential, the fact that trigger seed will still stun people, the ambush tactics using that W for vision as well as traps. Ivan is the pick of the patch, very strong, use it in your Clash games, use it in your Flex 5s. This is a great way to ensure that your teammates are saved from themselves. Next up we have Elise. Now Elise does very well into Talia, and her win rate is looking mighty high. I mean, it was really good before and people seem to just forget her. I don't see Elise in many games, except for Halo of course. But while they toned down the burst actives on the AP itemization, they in turn increased HP and base AP on the items. And now on those item passives and actives, you know, it's not reliable. It's a one-off in a certain situation, it goes on cooldown, and that AP is gone. Whereas if you have 90 AP all the time, well, that affects everything I do, it's a known quantity, and it can come out really big in extended situations. Elise is enjoying that, so are other AP champions that will be on the next page, but finally for the S page is Vi. Yeah, there may be other champions with better pick rates, maybe a slightly better win rate, but Vi is just such a great champion to carry with at this point in time. Mythic item diversity and strong fists that you can use on the enemy jungler, and once you do that, you can slap dragons in the face, remove void beetles from this plane of existence, and if there's anyone fed on the enemy team, your ultimate basically says no. Right, onto the A tier page. First up we have Echo. Echo is someone who has a win rate that is good, a play rate that is good, a ban rate that is higher, and while we see a lot of rocket belt actives on the jungle position, Echo is just enjoying that Nash's Tooth item first. Overall, that uncapped damage on monsters really brought him back into the fold. All the weaknesses like Talia are now alleviated. You can actually clear much better, get on the map sooner, impact fights quicker, and then scale faster than a Concord reaching Mark 1. Rest in peace Concord, we miss you. It also means you can dominate late game fights and basically all the carry potential is on you. You take it, you are safe, you have a huge stun, you have percentage damage. If you sign up to play Echo, you want to be the carry of the game, so go be the carry of the game. Or you can play Evelyn and have the same kind of mentality. The thing with Evelyn though, and the only reason I've put her down as hard in this specific scenario, is that the current meta has a lot of decent matchups into her. It makes it difficult for Evelyn to navigate them. Therefore, your knowledge of the champion, the limitations both good and bad, as well as when to pop off, how to position and really accentuate your win condition, these are a little more advanced than they otherwise would be. Junglers that don't get onto crabs early, don't really make any sort of lane impact early, they tend to not have the best control over games. Evelyn is a great counter ganker, you want to hit level 6, and the thing is that level 6 is so strong as long as you understand to use and play around that ultimate. As long as you understand vision control, laying ganks, and positioning, you will have no problem carrying with her in the current meta. That, and even though the AP items got their, their passive and active burst damage nerfed, they did have more sustained AP put in, and again, Evelyn does enjoy this, and therefore she is strong. And finally we have Fiddlesticks, who just got his sucking nerfed by an extra second. And I guess Echo, Evelyn, and Fiddle you could put as an extension of the S tier page. They really are part of that core group. The AP item changes didn't really seem to harm them that much. And in fact, Fiddlesticks is enjoying it. Hey, more health, more AP, okay, I take those. Yeah, he lost an extra second, but the sustainability from that HP, plus the reliability of the AP, means that during that 1 second downtime, he's surviving longer and doing more with it. That, and he's wreaking terror all over the map with his ultimate, as you should be. And the next part of the A tier page begins with Udyr. Still performing very well, you still have things like Sunfire Lichbane running around, you've got a whole bunch of bull versatility. Running around wasn't an intended pun, but that is literally what you do in your sandals. You get in the face of the enemy, you tap him to stun him, and then you can decide about how merciful you're feeling, whether you kill them or just run away and take all their stuff. Or both. And in the 2 tricks for all junglers, I said Al Ramus, so for this one I'll just say Rammus good. Rammus getting a little update coming up soon, as they just announced in the video today. Rammus good into quite a few meta champions, quite good against ADCs, and you have the superpower to be everywhere really quickly, gank quite a lot, and be basically unkillable. I like that in a jungler. Rek'Sai is performing wonderfully, absolutely great win rate, loves the Prowler's Claw, you've got that full lethality build now, you've got the Sterix gauge as well as an option, the extra dash adds to the outplayability and maneuverability of the champion, which is something that could have been an issue in the past. As long as you're keeping up that early game pressure like an Elise, making sure you're ganking lanes, counter jungling well, creating those priors for objectives so that you can make sure you control the game state. You want to end by the mid game, you don't want to go too late, although she is enjoying the late game better than in other seasons. Skarner. You exist, you are up for a rework poll, but you are pretty strong. People don't seem to realize why you're strong. That's because you're boring. However, that ultimate lockdown, like Vi, very strong. The fact that you can rinse, clear, and farm super quickly, underrated. And when ahead in the right matchups, you can take over their jungle. You walk in, you kill them with your chase down ability, you've got the Q reset, you've got the E stun. He's just so unassuming in the way he goes about it, but Skarner is definitely still performing very well. Their play rate is just so low, you don't see it enough. And finally, we have Kayn. I debated on who to put here. There's a lot of good candidates you could talk about on the bottom of an A tier page. But honestly, even though his win rate is lower despite the catastrophic nerfs that lost him like 8% win rate last patch, the fact that they reverted some of those has brought him back into the fold. He's just really not, a 1v9 dominating machine. The play rate is still over 10%, which affects the win rate of course, but as long as you are good at assessing when you need to be the Shadow Assassin and when you need to be a 400-pound Chad Rasty boy, you should have no issue navigating the current meta, doing well in your placements, carrying most of your games, and assuming control of all farming utensils on the map. That does it for our core junglers on the S and A tier page, and now we shift to low elo. Now I wish I could tell you things have changed, but they haven't. A lot of the best champions you see on the S page and the A page, they work in low elo to a decent degree if they have the bronze helmet next to them, but these ones on this list especially are just great at exploiting the weaknesses and accentuating the strengths of the players in silver and below. Specifically Master Yi, yes, he did get the Alpha Strike nerf, however, that's not going to change how he works in low elo, it will affect him more in the upper tiers. Secondly, things like Kha'Zix and Echo can work here, I just don't really recommend them, as the most important part about low elo is because people don't do what you expect them to, and the fact that you don't exactly know what to do at every point in the game, no offense intended, these champions have a bit more girth to the errors that you can make in terms of how many. You can stay alive, you can impact fights, you can be around to split push, you have objective control, all the basics that mean you get better as a jungler while also carrying yourself to the golden throne. And now for high elo, so many champions work. Kha'Zix, Talia, Ivan, all the way down to Karthus and yes, Graves. Karthus is in fact coming back and the win rate is looking extremely good at the moment. Something Night Harvester, base AP, great for farming, something ult. And yes, Graves did get his nerfs as I said, but the play rate is just so high. The win rate isn't good. I still think there's better picks even in high elo. But if your team drafted strong lanes, you win the jungle matchup, you should have no issue playing Graves like you always have, as an oppressive yet boring champion. Finally, yes, there are a whole bunch of champions you can use that are not currently here. Things like Elise, very strong. You can even use the Evelynn. Fiddlestick still works. Echo is quite commonly seen on streams. And let us not forget, even though he was just nerfed, the Pantheon jungle. It was overpowered, now it's just strong. Matchup dependent, you do scale better than before, but it is something you can use in this elo. Basically, if you're good with a champion and you're good at the game, it can work here. With the exception of a few things that are just limited by their design. Stuff like Warwick and Volibear are not exactly seeing happy days in Master Plus. But there you have it, the best junglers for 11.1 heading into the start of the season. Hopefully with the next edition, I will be showing you Virkayu from the Shadow Isles, covering the jungle and all the shadow mist you could possibly want. Keep an eye out on this channel and the gameplay channel for more news and gameplay when he is released. Thank you very much for watching. Best of luck in your placements. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment if you did enjoy, and maybe even learn a little something. And as always, keep your beards balmed and oiled, and I will see you all in the next tutorial.